Would I still recommend it today? Hey everyone, back with another review, and this time I wanted to have a look at something positively retro. This old Regenyei practice saber. Now, before we get to that though, formalities out of the way. Now, I bought this with my own money back in the day. They were not aware that there was going to be a review, and I don't think they expect one now at this point, but there it is. The structure of the video is going to be the same as always, meaning that I will have my talking part first, then there will be a picture with stats, then some more pictures, and then at the end you will have a clip where you can just see me using it. And there will be timestamps in the description where you can just jump around to the parts that interest you. Feel free to do so. Okay, so first of all, why look at this now? Well, you might catch me in the comments actually bemoaning the fact that the later Regenyei sabers aren't quite necessarily to my liking, because I have fond memories of this one here. And a while ago I got a message from a viewer of the channel, and they asked me if I was aware of the older Regenyei sabers, and if I could maybe, say something about them. And that got me thinking, really, because as I said, I do have very fond memories of this saber here. I do remember really loving it. But would I still recommend it today? After not having used it for a while, because believe it or not, I actually sold this on, so thanks Ulrich for allowing me to borrow it again. I do sell stuff on to make room for more stuff. But after not having used it for a while, and after having used several other sabers in between, how would it feel today? What would I think? So that is why you get this video here now. So let's go with the usual. Ordering, and then, watch outs, handling, stuff like that, and a small conclusion. So just ordering back in the day, I just wrote Regenyei an email, really. That was, I think, June or July of 2012, and I wrote him regarding sabers that I heard that he was making, and also because I wanted him to make me a custom spadroon and a custom ronde. And all of these came about. I actually still have the ronde. The spadroon I passed on, but I think they are both still around and working just fine. And I think there was like a slight delay, but we were always in communication, and I got this in early March 2013. So, as far as ordering goes, especially back in the day, it was really a good and nice process. Picking this up, fencing with it then, was great, because this is actually the first saber that I got that was like professionally made for HEMA, like a professionally made training saber. Every other saber that I had before that, well, the two I had before that, or that I handled, were either fencing society or student fencing society blade with Pauklinge with with hilt components from India that somebody just imported and got, hand-me-downs really, or they were made in-house basically from someone at my club. And back in the day, the definition of a saber for us was it's about 1 meter long and it weighs about 1 kilo. So everything until that point is perfectly fine, and even above that wasn't completely out of the question. And compared to that, picking up this one was really quite a thing, I have to say, because what you have here is, this is also about 1 meter long. Of that, 13 centimeters is the grip. Then you have 84 centimeters of the blade. The blade has a nice curve to it. If you draw a straight line from the back of the blade to the point, and then just measure for the deepest point of the curve, you get a measurement of about 2.5 centimeters. So, noticeable, but not overly so. The blade has a taper of it starts rather wide because of this bit here. I think it's 28 millimeters, and then to the middle it goes down to 18, and then to the point we have 15. Distal taper, it's 5 millimeters, goes down to 4, then goes down to 3, so fairly straight, and then you have a rolled tip of about a centimeter. It does have a nice flex to it. It's not overly bendy, but it is flexible enough to make thrusting safe and fun. The basket is a moderate one, 8 centimeters wide enough to protect your hand, but narrow enough so that you should really learn to parry, which is the reason why I wanted it like this. The material is, I think, about 1.5 centimeters, and then it's rolled at the edges, which have really taken a beating. I don't know if it shows. So it's doubled there, so about 3 millimeters. And one thing that I really liked about it, because as I said back in the day, a meter and a kilo, is that this comes in at about 720 grams, which was great back in the day. One thing that surprised me today was the rather forward POB actually. I didn't remember it being that far out. It's 15.5 centimeters. So yeah, that's what this is. Now this is or an older Regenyei Sabre. It's one of the old ones, because when I was in contact with him, he was basically still developing this. So I'm not quite sure how representative it really is of what then became the first series of Regenyei Sabres, really. If I remember correctly in the emails, he said he was working on a lighter blade and a slightly heavier blade, and then he had 3 variants of guards, like a wide one, a medium one, and a very narrow one. And I think this is the medium guard and the light blade. So, how was it fencing this back in the day? As I said, very fond memories. First proper made for HEMA Sabre from somebody outside my club that I got, and the first sabre that I thought was really, really working well for Hutton fencing. And I used this against pretty much anything that I came across. I used this against other sabres, I used it against backswords, broadswords, whatever. I do like fencing all kinds of people. I fenced this on events, I even fenced this in some tournaments, and it held up great as far as this goes. Now there were some nicks that I needed to file out, but if you can see the blade, still nothing major really. The guard has a slight wiggle now, but that's nothing that repealing couldn't fix. Now it's a bit dashed in. It's not quite as round as it used to be back in the day, but overall it held up great over the years. Nowadays I'm not too much of a fan of the rolled tip really, but that was still a great improvement back in the day compared to just not having anything and then having to put a washer or a nut in the tip to make it a bit safer. So as far as these things go, it was great, really. And the thing is, picking it up now, as I said, I was kind of surprised because the POB is comparatively far out compared to the other saber that I mostly use now, which is the in moto variant of the Victor or Berberkush lightsaber, and that has a POB of about 9-ish centimeters, I think. So a good bit closer really than the Regenyei one. But after that initial surprise, picking it up again was like back in the day, really. I got used to it immediately, and fencing Hutton and Roworth with it is still fun. It's still a great saber, really. So if I would, if this would be available today and I would be asked, would you recommend it? I would say, yeah, this is still a good saber, really. I liked it back in the day and I still like it today. So it wasn't all rose-tinted glasses, really. This is, as far as I'm concerned, still a very fine saber, really. Now, unfortunately, you can't get these anymore, and you haven't been able to get them for a while. After a while, Regenyei sabers got really big and really heavy, and as far as I'm concerned, rather unsuitable for what I want to do with them, at least how I fence. But I got told recently that the dueling saber by Regenyei is actually surprisingly nice. And as fate would have it, when I picked this one up again and started using it again, a member of my club actually got it and brought it to practice, and I got to handle it. And you can see it in the videos being used against me. And that one surprised me, I have to say. So maybe there is some hope in that regard. But yeah, old Regenyei practice saber. I would still recommend it today, really. If you come across one, give it a whirl. Like, it's a nice one. I still fence with it, or I can still fence with it. It's not mine anymore, but you know, Ulrich could still use it. So it's a good piece. Cheers.
Allez. En garde. Allez. En garde. Allez. En garde. Allez. En garde. Allez. Allez. En garde. 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 Allez. Nice. En garde. Allez. En garde. Allez.